Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's take a little peek at possibly the signs and symbols for the day. See, the storyline is we have Luna. So we have the moon, and the moon is looking for something or someone. So this is hidden, right? We have somebody by the light of the moon. They are maybe looking for someone. They may be, I know we have a sailing ship, but I want to say surfing the web. Someone is perhaps by the light of the moon, so late at night, is literally seeking something. Now, this could be somebody going car shopping, looking online at vehicles, right? We have a like an old Model T here. This could be someone looking for, since we have two modes of transportation, this could be somebody, checking into like, if I were going to take this vacation, could I, rent a car once I get there? If I, whatever, want to go out on a catamaran, could I, book tickets for some sailing dinner cruise or something? It could be something along those lines, or it could be somebody that's doing like online shopping right now. They do have a purpose, and either it's that they're doing it late at night just because they can't sleep, or because the moon is what's hidden. It makes me think that somebody is actually looking for someone, somebody who's at a distance from them, somebody, and they may not know who that person is. Are they within driving distance? Are they within sailing distance? What would it take for me to get to them? So just because, why would you be hiding if you're just, online shopping to buy a new car, right? That doesn't have to be anything hidden or anything incognito. It feels like somebody is doing a bit of spying incognito on purpose. We have Scorpio. There is a strong sense of like passion or lusty energy here, um, possibly for a feminine. Now, this feminine could be passionate and also has a bit of sting. So she could have, like an intensity and kind of like an exotic vibe here as well. Or somebody's moon sign could be in Scorpio. Four of Earth. This Four of Pentacles, we have this masculine who is, he's definitely hiding things. So I'm going to say he's hiding it maybe from a Scorpio then. Is he looking at somebody online and not letting another individual know about this? Look, we have somebody who could be gambling or something as well. Just because the tablecloth has all of the, clubs and diamonds and spades. Somebody could be into cards or like poker games. But this could also be, what's in the cards for me? Could I change, the outcome of my life? Could I, roll the dice and have a different outcome for myself? But he's keeping this to himself for sure. Who are you keeping this from? I mean, by all means, nobody has to tell anybody what they're thinking. Keeping it from somebody who, again, with this fire energy, and although we have the heart in the middle, which we would say, well, that's somebody who loves him. Maybe this is going to be a secret surprise for somebody that he loves. Maybe he's planning a trip for somebody that he loves. Or because the heart is there, but then we have the ring of fire around it. And because the ring of fire, it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire. It could be that there is someone who has kind of a very intense love. I say that with air quotes because I'm like, I don't know. We got the Eight of Cups in the reverse. That's actually somebody who wants to return to another person. Oh. Okay, so we have a masculine. He's hiding it from the very person that he cares about. Somebody that he'd like to return to. Somebody that he's drawn to. He's not hiding it from another person like, ooh, I don't want her to know that I want to go to somebody else. He's hiding it from the person he wants to return to. So he's doing some little spying here. And now, if you look closely, his heart is actually not even in his chest on this card. So he might kind of be hiding it from himself as well, which is really hard to hide from your own self what you're doing. If he's looking up, trying to find, pictures, trying to find where she at, trying to figure out what's going on in her life, and he's not admitting it to himself that the real reason I'm doing this is because I miss her, because I wish I was with her, because I wonder if there's any chance for me to go back to her. I wonder if there's another chance for us. That's more what that seems like. Now, I could also maybe put it in a different context and say he can't help it. He returns to like looking at her time and again. It could just be that also. I can't help. My heart keeps returning. I just dropped our moon card. And I'm not, I don't know if I can get that out or not. Hang on. I feel like a little raccoon reaching in and my hand could get stuck. Okay. Nope, I got it, but it's a little bit dusty. Okay, good. Wheel of Fortune and the alchemy card, or temperance alchemy. So there's a couple things that he's not being honest about here. I think that his heart is either drawn to her and he's not admitting that I can't help it. She's like my favorite little drug that I go back to again and again. I got to see her again. I got to look at her again. I don't want anybody else to know, and I definitely don't want her to know maybe how repetitiously I, return to her, whatever, photos online or something. But the reason this is all happening is it actually is, there's something here with the fate card that, divine timing, the Wheel of Fortune, where it's like this actually, she might be looking at him also, whether or not he knows it. This could be two people both thinking about each other. This could be two people who are like, there's never been a better time. If he's doing some spying on her and he's keeping it to himself, but ironically, she may be spying on him too. Look, she's the Scorpio energy. Right. Okay. So Mara, Earth. Yes, she is spying on him. He could be an earth sign. Now he's got his own little like crazy Viking horned helmet here. I don't know, and he holds the world in his hand. I'm picturing like I don't know. I keep wanting to say Denmark or something, but there's something. He's in front of like this bank vault, but he's not holding a pentacle. He's holding the world. So all I can say here is that he's like conquered the world somehow, or at least in her opinion, he has. Very interesting how she may think a lot about him. She may be spying on him. So we're going to say he's a King of Pentacles. That could make him possibly a Virgo, a Capricorn, or a Taurus. Now, perhaps, again, maybe he comes from like Viking heritage or something. But for some reason, I keep wanting to go like Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, maybe England, but that's not what rolls off my tongue first. And I don't know what he keeps in a vault, but he literally may have collected like a couple of like old relics or something that like, or family heirlooms or something that are preserved and kept like in a vault in like another country or something. I keep picturing that he has ties to another country. With the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, though, I don't know that she has any idea that he's thinking about her. In fact, I would suggest that although she might kind of do a little bit of her own spying on him, because remember, the moon started us out. So the moon presides over the entire story. And the moon has a little spyglass. So it could be she spies on him at night. He spies on her at night. Checks out each other's social media, or maybe this is just in the heart space. Sometimes we can just spy just by thinking, a lot about somebody in our heart. It's like, I wonder where you are. I wonder how you are tonight. But she does not see anything like even a little bit of a future with him because she doesn't think he's out there thinking about her. I don't even think she could conceive of that. And the irony here is that they probably think about each other in the exact same moments. They may even both check each other out at the exact same moments, which would be really funny because, and again, we go to nighttime here as well. And I just say it that way because the Three of Wands is either upright, and we're talking about into the future. In the reverse, I look at it as right now, right here, present, not in the future. And I think it's ironic that her mind either drifts to him at the same time his mind drifts to her. And I would say that we're supported in that because of the alchemy card, and we have two different, decanters, pouring their beverages here. Also, we got that eagle, and it's like eagle eyes. That is the American bald eagle that we see. So, just as a location, perhaps these two are technically, like in at least the same time zone, or maybe if not time zone, the same like continent or country. This could be. They're both in North America. Does not have to be, but just as a side note there's something about that American bald eagle. I should just say bald eagle, but how about that Wheel of Fortune? By the way, somebody could have a like a Ferris wheel or something that they drive by, or maybe there's a fair in town, or they're attending some kind of local festivities, but we do have a Ferris wheel. And I'm picturing that there's one nearby for one or perhaps both of them. Again, just I feel like these two have a lot of crossover that they are unaware of. We've got the Mayor of Air in the reverse. So as far as like the Wheel of Fortune is a positive turn of events. And this actually says, instead of being in silent mode, that could all change now. If one or the other of them actually reached out, I think that the two of them would begin to communicate is what this looks like. Am I right on that? Is that the way to interpret that? We have got the Air in the reverse, which again will be thoughts and communication. Hang on. Why is it in the reverse? Is it that we would finally get out of our heads and start to actually communicate? And we have Aries and Capricorn. So definitely with the zodiacs here. And of course, Aries is Mars, god of war. But then Capricorn, I have to say, in Greek mythology, Aries has like a lot of kind of unhappy turn of events with romances, even though here's powerful, powerful God, but he's also, obviously kind of like associated with, well, the warrior aspect, but also, like a very lusty energy. But oftentimes he winds up not having terrific outcomes. And I always think that that's probably because there's, when you put too much complication, or how do you have love and war, maybe choose love over war instead. And then we have Capricorn, which is, the story of Capricorn is originally about Pan with his pan flute, and then transforming himself into half of a fish. And, that's how we end up with the sign of Capricorn. But Pan was also a very rustic, very lusty little god. And so I'm just seeing on both of these, if these two individuals, if this is actually the right time for them to get out of their head and start talking to each other. I'm hearing that song, Get Out of My Head, Get Into My Car, Get in the Back Seat, baby. Get out of my mind, get into my life. I said, hey, you, get into my car. I can't think who sings that. That was like definitely an 80s song. That was when I was a kid. We thought it was such a cool song. we have a lot of like tension and desire. And I'm wondering if the more they think about each other without actually like taking action. I mean, he'd like to like I think he returns again and again because his heart thinks about this possibly Scorpio woman. Then she's over here thinking about him, but maybe keeping her thoughts locked in a vault and assuming I mean, why would I think about him? I know he's not thinking about me. And she couldn't be more wrong. I feel like there's a lot of like unrequited emotions that could be requited if they could just talk to each other. But instead, this is a good time to break the silence and breaks through some of the tension. Will they be able to do it? 9 of Fire, which is the 9 of Wands, and the Artisan. It says, yes, definitely, they could do this. Somebody could have quite a lovely striped house cat, by the way. But I think art is going to be the way to do this, to look at this relationship instead of it being like really intense, really like, man, I spy on them. Oh, they spy on me, but neither of us knows it. We both pine for each other, but there's no satisfaction in this because we're never really connecting. They could also both have complementary, like astrological placements or something in their charts. Like there's something here where they operate in such a similar way, even though they seem to be very opposite signs in every time we see signs popping up. She's possibly a Scorpio, he's possibly an earth sign. Then we've got Capricorn versus Aries. I mean, like everything here says that these two are opposite, yet they keep thinking about each other and kind of operating in the same way. So I feel like if they were to use a more artistic approach to like, okay, I can't help but think about them. What am I going to do about this? It almost seems like they could, it's going to take a little bit of bravery, but maybe find a reason to reach out to each other that has to do with art, that has to do with something else, whatever, share a song, share something along those lines. Or I don't know, there's something here possibly about traveling to another city also, specifically for something. Be like, oh, I'm going to be in town, or, thought I'd let you know. I don't know, it just feels like they need to break the silence. And there's a way to do that. Maybe her that breaks the silence. And then we have Soldier of Fire. Look, if she breaks the silence and she says something to them first, it looks like, holy smokes, he's going to move heaven and earth to get to wherever she's at. But it does feel like somebody has to actually open up dialogue. She doesn't think he's thinking of her, but if she keeps thinking of him, it's that same city skyline. And I always think of that as like New York skyline, which is crazy because I really haven't been there except to change planes. That's always what I think of when I look at that card. I think it has to be her in this storyline who breaks the silence for him. And then it's like all systems go. I feel like he's going to be, oh my God, I can't wait to respond. I can't wait to interact. I can't wait to, like, this is him possibly being like, I'll travel wherever she's at if I'm going to get a chance to see her. It's kind of what he needs to acknowledge how his heart feels. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.